Hi, my name's Sue Ellam, and I'm a professional tarot reader and have been for 25 years, using the Mythic Tarot, which are based on Greek mythology.
And I'm Carrie Beleno, intuitive Reiki master teacher and spiritual life coach. And I have our prompt words here. And our word for today is beliefs. Beliefs. So important right now. Okay, so the general message around beliefs is they are yours. They are your personal decisions and paradigms and structures based on your personal experiences and emotional highs and lows. So they are unique to you, and they need to be unique to you because you're an integral part of the puzzle that that your energetic piece holds. So you need to have your own belief structure that resonates with your life experiences and your goals and your emotional traumas and what you've released and what you've, or I hate that word, which you've moved through, acknowledged, and also what you haven't. So that being said, that's your fingerprint. Your beliefs are your fingerprint based on all of those factors. And everyone has their unique fingerprint of beliefs. You cannot change someone else's beliefs. It's impossible. So everyone should give up trying to sway anyone else's beliefs. The only way someone's belief system will change or a certain belief will change is if they have an emotional experience around it themselves that causes it to change. So, and you know that you see those experiences all the time. Someone has a life and death situation. They change the way they eat. They change their health status. Like their belief system around donuts changes when they have a health scare. It is because it has an emotional attachment to it, an emotional impact. That's when our belief structures change. Talking won't do it. Showing statistics won't do it. Showing proving videos won't do it. It has to be a core emotional shift in order for someone's belief structure to change. So my advice to everybody at this point, especially in the United States, is to stop trying to convince other people to change their beliefs and worry about your emotional status. Where are you? Where's your frequency? Is it in fear? Are you afraid of destruction? Are you afraid of anything? Look square in the eye, the fears that you are looking at, and shift out of those fears. And that's another 10 videos in itself. If you scroll through Sue and I's videos or my personal videos, you'll find a lot of support on shifting fear. So the message around this in general is don't waste your emotional energy trying to shift people's beliefs, that it will become an internal shift only when there is an emotional experience for them personally.
Yep. I remember I went along to, God must perhaps about 15, 16 years ago. I went along to about 14 years ago, Tony Robbins' 4-day seminar, very powerful. The last day, it wasn't him there, but they were talking about nutrition and stuff like that. And they said something about eating meat, which was so appalling to me, which created this vision for me, a real clear visual. And I haven't eaten meat since.
You had an emotional reaction.
Absolutely, it was powerful, and I haven't touched meat. But interestingly, it was time because I myself, my body feels much better for it. But it was just, I went in a meat eater and I came out non-meat eater. I still eat fish because they didn't say anything about fish, which so appalled me.
Viscerally, emotionally, right.
So it is an emotional reaction. And I don't have a problem if somebody else meets meat. That's their what they do. So I'm not going to try and, promote it. But for me personally, I can't touch it without that visual. So, okay. Judgment. Right. We are at an end of an era. We will get the rewards for the efforts we're making.
Woohoo!
Yes. And the thing is, our belief systems are going to have to change in order to get into the new era. The interesting thing I think about beliefs is how often we inherit them from our families and things. And when I can always tell if somebody's talking to me from a family or traditional belief, or if it's something we've personally experienced. I believe, my belief is that we should base our beliefs on our own personal experience, not because so-and-so. The kind of prime example is one of our family members got bitten by a dog, so therefore all dogs are going to bite you. So therefore you're terrified of dogs. And that is a belief system, fear of flying, fear of, there's so many fears that we inherit through our childhood. That's when we're particularly vulnerable to taking on other people's beliefs. And if there's charismatic leaders as well, we can take on their belief systems, and we don't see through the veils, I suppose. Not everybody who's charismatic has kind of things that are going to harm us in our beliefs, but they're still their belief systems. We still got to check in if everything they say. It's like you can't read. I can't read an author's all their books and say, oh, they're all wonderful. If you're tuning to your own beliefs, some books will resonate, some won't. Just people aren't consistent across the board unless you're into that belief that they are above everything else. So it is the end of an era, and this is kind of globally, and old belief systems are not going to make life easier if you try and take them into the new, because we are coming into a different age, astrologically, spiritually, ascension wise, we are coming in to an era which is different. Old belief systems need to be left at the door, and we need to walk in like newborn babes in a way, and create our new belief systems around our own personal experiences. What happened even 20 years ago is no longer relevant. And I think this is where a lot, and I've mentioned this before, when you've had spiritual gurus who have been wonderful in kind of letting us know what's been happening. And I know when I started reading self-help books, which weren't around when I was a child or even when I was in my 20s, they weren't around, and I read them like my lifeblood, when they started coming around, because they were confirming basically that I wasn't crazy. But but they really helped me understand so much more. But even now, those are changing. We're moving forward. We've come to a new level of understanding. You wouldn't want to. I'm thinking about an electrician. An electrician will learn how to wire a plug, and then 30 years later, they won't be wanting to wire the same plug because the plugs have changed. It's that kind of energy. You've got to go with the times. You've got to, you're going to feel, you've got to feel very out of place if you don't go with the times. We are in a different energy. We're going into a different kind of world, much better one. I am visualizing.
For sure.
Let the Tower card here. When we let go of our beliefs or the other people's beliefs that we have attached ourselves to, we are going to find chaos. Things are leaving our lives. People who believe a certain way don't want to change their beliefs. They won't come with us. They won't want to come with us. We could lose families, we could lose friendships, we could lose working situations. There's all sorts of things that will be swept out of our lives if we change our beliefs, especially if belief is a very, very like a traditional structure that we're in. It can be to do with political beliefs, it can be to do with religious beliefs, beliefs on certain sexuality, you know, all those beliefs are really strongly held and they're very emotive. And if we suddenly come out, you know, as in families, when somebody comes out and says, well, I'm gay, and some people will, that the love for that person is going to overcome any disappointment that they might feel, or sometimes those people get thrown out without a moment's notice and said, you're no family member of mine. Again, we don't have to, but if we can get to a place of non-attachment to the things outside of us, recognizing that some people come into our lives for as the old saying goes, for a day, a season, a lifetime. What is for you, the people, the situations that will support you will stay with you. Even if you change your belief systems, it won't matter. They will listen to what you say, they will respect you, they will love you anyway. They might not believe what you believe, but that doesn't matter. You'll just talk about other things, you know, because you have plenty in common that is not revolving around that belief system. But the pain comes is when we try to hold on to something that is leaving us. If it leaves you, it's because it's past its sell-by date. It no longer has a place for your future life. And then it leaves room for new people, new situations that are more in line with your new belief systems to come in and to enrich your life that way. So it's out with the old and in with the new. And some of the old will transition and move forward into the new with you. But try to get to the non-attachment, the non-emotional attachment about it all. And that will help you in your own transition, because these things are going anyway. So why beat yourself up and make it worse? It's their time. They have to go. And if you do that, we have the 8 of Wands. And with this, it's smooth sailing, anxiety and tension behind you. So once we kind of let go and just go with the flow of things, it becomes smooth sailing, and we can just, you know, travel forward without, you know, with dolphins, if we so wish. But it's more peaceful. You know, life it's much more peaceful. We don't fight every step of the way. We don't fight every argument, you know, and make it all about, as I said, as Carrie was saying, about trying to beat people into submission so they come into your belief system. You know, who are we? How arrogant we must be to think that other people should believe our way. You know, who are we to determine what somebody else believes? That isn't what we're here for. We're here to love and support each other. And when you find that life is just flowing. And, you know, I know some of my belief systems are really out there. And a number of my friends, there's no way they would ever subscribe to some of my, they're on different, they've got different belief systems, but we have other things. And our friendships are really strong and smooth because they're not trying to force me into what they believe, and I'm not trying to force them. We just accept each other unconditionally. And that is what life's about. Accepting everybody else unconditionally, understanding that their purpose here is just as important as yours. We're all part of a big jigsaw puzzle, and no jigsaw puzzle piece looks exactly the same. Otherwise, we just have a blank blue or blank green or blank red. You know, it's the interesting different colors within each little piece and how it slots together. And I remember writing an article about how games can help us, you know, I do like computer games every now and again, not the rushing around ones, but I was looking at the kind of the jigsaw puzzles. And if you look at a jigsaw piece and it's away from the position it's meant to be in, it doesn't look as though it can fit there. It really doesn't. But the closer you put it to the actual puzzle and you adjust it, it slots in perfectly. But when you see it from a distance, it doesn't look as though it belongs, but it does when you actually get to fitting it together. So look at yourself as just a colorful piece of a jigsaw puzzle. You're not quite sure where you belong, but the closer you get to that place you're meant to be, the more you find you'll fit in and you'll slot in just perfectly. But if you're trying to slot into another jigsaw puzzle and somebody else's storyline, you'll find there's no place that your puzzle piece will fit in because you're not meant to be part of that puzzle. So this is what beliefs do. Make sure you've got your own jigsaw based on the belief systems that you have at this current time. And those can change, and you can then find yourself as a piece in another jigsaw puzzle. But at this current time, when life is difficult, it's because we are trying to force ourselves, our own jigsaw puzzle piece, into somebody else's jigsaw, and we don't fit. And we can't actually get to the smooth sailing until we find our own puzzle. The Eight of Swords. This is about being stuck between a rock and a hard place. Whichever way we turn, people are going to get upset. So this really is basically keep your beliefs to yourself unless there's an appropriate time to talk about them. Don't lead with your belief systems, because that can turn people off straight away, and you can just repel people. You know, you don't walk into a room and saying, well, I'm a gay Catholic, you know, and then it's like, you know, but the fact that there's nothing shameful about being gay or being Catholic, but when you lead with that, then you automatically put a barrier up between yourself and the people that aren't gay, and the self and the people that aren't Catholic. But if you walk into a room and talk about the weather, or that we English are famous for, because it changes so often. But if you walk into a room and just say, hi, how are you? My name's so-and-so, and just start a conversation. And then within the conversation, if it's appropriate, your kind of sexuality can be mentioned, or religion can be mentioned within the conversation, then there's not this shock factor, you know. But when people have their beliefs and they have them as a banner, then they will only ever have people who resonate with that banner that will come forward, and they will miss so much of life, and also the possibility of changing their beliefs, because they'll only be around people with those beliefs. They won't. It's like watching one news channel, and that's the only news channel you watch. Therefore, what they say is the only truth that you will accept. At the end of the day, it's the King of Cups. And the King of Cups is about loving and healing, and being a counselor, healer, helping other people, also being willing to let other people help us as well. Because if you're in a role of teacher, there's this kind of, it can get into the tricky thing that I know it, and I'm teaching you, but I have nothing to learn. You have to be very careful about ego things with this as well. But we are in a new era. Once we have learned some new steps along the path of this new journey that we're on, share that. Let people know about it. They will either resonate with it or they won't. But don't take it personally. If it's not there, if it doesn't resonate with them, there's nothing personal about it. But that's just something you've taken on as your own truth, your own belief system. But be prepared to share, especially if it's something that brings you joy. Be prepared to share, and then, let people know about it, but don't hit them over a hammer with it. Just leave it on the table and see if they pick it up or not. So those are the cards.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, we hope this message helps.
I hope so too, because with I don't know how many belief systems are running around out there. I mean, and
they're all crumbling.
Yeah. And I don't even want to know. It's that's the thing about the social media, isn't it? It's somebody can wake up with a bizarre idea, and next day it's become viral trend.
Right. But anyway, we're here to offer some sanity, so tune in. Every day I have videos except Sunday, and Sue has a plethora as well, so please subscribe to our channels. Yeah. And thank you very much for watching our particular take on belief systems and beliefs. And we'll see you next time. Okay, bye.